Hello everybody, Strategic Operative here. Today I'm coming to you with a Star Wars Armada Imperial list from Ryan Kingston's Fleet Builder. Today I'm going to be building a multi-role ship, actually a multi-role fleet, that is actually going to be, that's actually competitive to a degree in just normal 400-point format. And this is going to be a little bit different than my normal fleet builds. So we're going to start off with Imperial Simoon. And we're also going to be using a gladiator. Gladiator is going to be one of our key ships, and we're actually going to be giving our commander is going to be actual Admiral Monty. We're going to be giving we want Director Krennic because we're going to be using our long range front arc attack. For the Simoon is going to be effective. We're going to, of course, be using spinal armor. Oops, not slave. We're going to be using spinal armor to get the best bang for our buck out of the Simoon. We're also going to be giving it. We could give it quad turbo laser cannons, but I want to give it the XI7 turbo lasers. Those are a little bit more effective. We're also going to give it the sovereign title. Just really helps us mitigate those tokens. I am not going to be using a fleet command because my goal here is to be using all of my concentrate fire dials primarily on Director Krennic's ability with the spinal armament and sort of melding well with the XI7 turbo lasers. Now we're going to go over to the Gladiator. Gladiator, we're going to be using Palpatine. The idea here is the Gladiator is going to be getting close. It's going to be getting shot at the most out of this fleet. And using Emperor Palpatine sort of is just a two-edged sword here. They're using one of their own defense tokens that they might end up having to use against you when you use the Demolisher title. We're going to be using Ordnance Experts just to reroll those blacks. Engine Tex is beautiful on these guys. External racks, that's going to be able to, if we get them on a side hit, we're going to be able to blow 6 dice, plus Concentrate Fire gives us 7 dice out of the side, which is just deadly. Plus we have Ordnance Experts, so we could reroll. We could possibly look at 14 hits, which is really good out of the side. Of course, Demolisher title. Now, these are the only two ships we're going to be using. Everything else is going to be squads. And normally you don't hear me say that in fleet building because I hate squads. I understand for when you're playing competitively, squads do play a role. And I do play a specific type of squadrons when I do play, and those are rogue. And so we're going to go with rogue squads here. We're actually going to go with my favorite squadrons in the game. And I actually do want to do a video on these, on how effective they are, because they're just multi-role vessel overall. They can go well against ships, they can go well against squads, and we're going to use the VT-49 decimator, and we're using 6 of these bad boys. If you're just crazy enough like I am to have 6 VT-49 decimators lying around, this could actually work well for you. You see, the reason why this list is a multi-role is because of these guys. If you're going up against a heavy, SSD or something, you can run these into one arc, and they can take a beating. They can take 2 to 3, maybe even 4 flaks, because Agent Callus isn't going to do anything against these VT-49 decimators. They're going to get that one long-range shot out of red. They're going to get a blue dice. If they have rerolls, great. If they're using Concentrate Fire and they're using the Ravager title, they might be able to hit you with 4 direct hits, possibly 5. Now, when you run, if you think about it, if you're running 6 decimators and your your anti-ship dice is 3 blue, which is really effective. Especially when you do, 6 times 3 is 18, so that's 18 dice. Out of the blue, you're probably looking at a 2 out of probably 2/3 of a chance of getting a hit across. It's not a bomber, so you're looking at 1/3. So primarily you're looking maybe 6 to 8 shots actually penetrating and getting through, which is not bad for a squadron. And they can stand well against squads. That's 3 black dice. That's almost 3 guaranteed hits. That's really effective, and I know that they're heavy, so you're really not going to fly them as an escort role, and you lack escort in this fleet. But since they're rogue, you can just fly them on their own grid sheet of the map. If you want to fly your decimator down the middle, you have your Simoon off to the left, you could theoretically run all of your VC decimators all the way to the right of the board and not have to worry about the nav token. You don't have to worry about the squadron token. You don't have to worry about being in range because they're rogue. They can attack and shoot when it comes to squadron round, so they can even hook up behind an SSD without having to worry about comm nets or long range for long-range nets or anything squadron-related for your dials, and it frees your dials for the most important thing that you're going to want to be doing, and that is concentrate fire. Adramati just gives us that extra durability. That puts your demolisher to 6 hull, and that gives your Simoon up to 14 hull, which is really good. You could use these, and if you're going up against a squadron ball, use the VT-49 decimators to cover your weak points. Almost like just put them in pairs of 2 or 3s if you want, just to cover your weak points behind your ISD or around your ISD or whatever the objective is in the game. Missions you want to be running with these. This is a very flexible fleet, so you're not going to have a hard time picking stuff. Advanced gunnery is awesome. Most Wanted is another awesome one because, once again, you're using the VT-49 decimators to go after those key ships. And you're at 386 points. You're probably going to win the bid, the initiative bid. And so I'll probably go with Most Wanted. Defensive-wise, the only thing I probably wouldn't recommend is you could do firing lanes. Firing lanes because you have the Simoon. It's just most of your firepower is in the VT-49s, and they don't count. You can do fleet ambush is another one. I would just go with firing lanes, or you could do contest outpost. But for this one, just to make it easy, I would do firing lanes because everything's going to revolve around your ISD Simoon. And even if they have an ISD, well, now you know where their main primary arc is going to be facing. And that's a really key strategy when going up against an SSD, is knowing where that front arc is going to be placed or where it's going to want to be placed, and make it where they have to pick. Do they want the firing lanes or do they want to hit you? And you can use that to your advantage. You could definitely do dangerous territories. You could do intel sweep. You could do minefields. Primarily with these guys, I like to pick minefields. It's just an all-around good... it's just an all-around really good objective, and even when you're going up against SSDs, as what you're going to be seeing probably for the next few months, at least probably through Christmas time, you're going to see a lot of SSDs on the board, and minefields is going to be a pain in the butt for those. It just really is. It's going to wreck them and just destroy, and just really cause some non-necessarily damage that's just really going to cripple them. Just personally playing against minefields with SSD, it does hurt. And it's just a nuisance that's one extra thing you have to worry about. And so even if you're not going up against that, or up against a SSD, minefields is just a good obstacle course that's just really fun, just playing for both sides. Of course, you could pick, this fleet, it's really hard to pick what's going to be the most effective objectives because it can meld so well with just different things. It just really can respond in the direct ways that you need to face your opponent's fleet and just really make a comeback in the place that it's going to hurt the most. If you need speed, your demolisher is really good at that. You need squadron support or escorting support. Granted, not the traditional escort. I know it doesn't have the escort keyword, but the decimators are really good escorts, especially when they go in 2 and 3s, because then squadrons say, hey, I have to go after these guys, or they're going to wreck my ships. And they do wreck ships. They're really, really strong, especially only being for 22 points each. I highly recommend just loading up on these things, especially if you're on like an SSD list with just decimators. That's great, but that's not necessarily a multi-role. This is a great multi-role. You have heavy hitting firepower, the ISD, of course, just with spinal armaments and just all the weapons and placements, Director Krennic, Gunnery Team, XI7s. Sovereign's just really going to help with the Gladiator. Or the Simoon if it just needs some backup, changing its if it needs a nav token or not. The Gladiator is just like a one-man punch right here. We got Emperor Palpatine, who's a double-edged sword, using Ordnance Experts to reroll up to your 7 black dice on your first attack. If you can get to a side haul, imagine if you got double arced. If you even going up against an SSD, if you got double arced, rolling 7 black dice out of your side, oh my goodness, that is great. That's really strong. then your VC-49 decimators are going to go after those quicker, more mobile ships. And I get it only has a speed 3, but if you spread them out in the beginning of the game, and it's all about setup with these guys, you know, it's all about deployment. If you can sort of recognize where your enemy's coming, you'll be able to put these down and sort of lock them off or make them fight for it. And if they get tied down with the VC-49 decimators, that's great. This is a really agile list. It does take a little bit of expertise and learning just how to fly the VC-49 decimators, just because they are speed 3 and they're not the fastest ships in the game, and they do have heavy, so that is a downside. But when you just run them in overwhelming numbers, I find them very effective. And I've even paired them up with gladiators, and I've paired them up with ISDs before, and they work really well. And this list I've ran just only twice, and I've seen crazy results out of it. But I definitely want to fly it more in a battle report soon for you all, just to sort of show you how to fly a list like this, because it does take a little bit, and it all depends on. And this list is all about responding to your enemy. This one, you're not leading the charge; you're sort of responding to the enemy's forces and activation, and just sort of plan accordingly for that. Well, let me know what you guys think of this list. Have you guys faced any similar lists? Or if you are going to try, what do you think of the VC-49 decimators? Because they are just devastating, at least from what I've played against them and what I've used them for. And what do you think about the heavy keyword now, since the Corellian, I'm sorry, not the Corellian conflict, but the new Outer Rim, or the new Rebellion in the Rim campaigns that has come out, has given us quite a few cards that help boost the heavy keywords. It makes it to where if you activate a heavy squadron within 1 to 2 of your ship, that they can actually lock down ships and prevent them from attacking your ship. That totally ruins intel right there. So I definitely see that the VT-49 decimators can become even more powerful with these upgrades, especially when now that they can actually become escorts for your ship. Thank you all for watching, and I'll try to put up another video soon enough with another battle report.